In this video, I'm going to speak to you about the strategies that you need to focus on getting a job in Dubai, UAE, or the Middle East in general. Remember this much, that getting a job in the Middle East or in Dubai shouldn't just be your objective. It is like you wanting to get married. Now, getting married is very easy. You can just find someone and get married. But it is what happens after you get married, when the honeymoon phase is over, when the actual relationship starts, when the romance has died out, when you will have your mood swings, the person will have her mood swings, you'll keep the room untidy or not in place, the person will not give you space, the person is possessive, the person has a hot temper, the person shows you the real side, the ugly side. That should be your strategy when hunting for a job. It shouldn't be just to get a job or just to get married. It should be what happens after I get the job, what happens after the first year, the first 6 months, when the romance, the honeymoon phase has died out. And if in case, let's say your employment does not work, if you want an exit strategy, how does it work? Just like when you get married and you want a divorce, is it going to be a lengthy process? Is it going to be where you're going to end up coughing up much more money than what you put for getting married? The same way, in the video that is going to come up, I'm going to speak to you everything from the contract clause to the benefits that the employer gives you, from the housing, the car, what you should agree for in terms of the market rates, how do you negotiate for the salary, what should be your preferences, and how can you position yourself, not just by a dummy resume and interview skills. So watch this video and I hope you get tremendous amount of value. Stay tuned. Hi there, Lloyd Macedo, speaking to you from LloydMacedo.com. Who is Lloyd Macedo and Think Personal Branding? Now, given that we are nearly approaching the month of October 2018, and very soon it's going to be November, December, and then you're going to move to the next year, that is 2019. I decided it's time to put the 2019 strategy of how to get a job in the Middle East, specifically if you're looking at Dubai or United Arab Emirates. For those of you who do not know, I was in the UAE for 40 years of my life. My parents were there for almost 50 years of their life. I have friends who have been there for 3 generations. So the fact of the matter is, Dubai has a culture, has a trend, has a pattern that it cannot change or evolve or move away from. So based on the years that I've helped people get jobs in the market, okay, help means people paid me for a professional service and I helped them get a job. So based on years and years of experience and dealing with many people and improving my service, evolving myself, these are the 17 points that I'm going to give you where strategies involved in the Middle East, especially in Dubai or United Arab Emirates. Now, here's a couple of things which you need to know about. If you ask the uneducated person on the street or someone who just has a comfortable job, who got there by luck and now is holding on to the job with his dear life, he'll just tell you, forward me your CV, okay? Or he'll tell you, prepare for the interview. Now, most of the people, how do they prepare for interviews? How do they prepare their resumes? Very simple. The uneducated person who comes down to Dubai, or, I'm using UAE. Yeah, I say Dubai as UAE. When they come down there, they will just start hunting for a job. And the only preparation that they've done is they have looked online, the internet, they have copy-pasted their resume, or they have gone to these websites like Naukri.com, Gulfjobs.com, Monster.com. Most of these websites pay them a sum of money, $300 or $200 or whatever, or $700. Listen to their nonsense that we are going to have our expert sit down on your CV and make it amazing. All they do is put amazing fluffy words, nice words. In fact, you can get a resume done for $5 on Fiverr. And this is what most of these agencies do. They take your resume for $300 or $500, give it to one of these agencies which charges $5, outsource it to a guy in Bangladesh or Philippines or Pakistan or India, and they just copy paste a resume and give it back to you. Here's my logic to you. Let's assume you're putting your ad for marriage. You're searching for a suitable partner for dating or marriage. Can you imagine just giving your profile to somebody unknown and telling them, can you jazz up my online profile so I can get a good girlfriend or a boyfriend? That person is going to put, out of the air, all these adjectives and all these action verbs and these descriptions. That will not help you get a job. I still have to meet that individual, that company or that employer who employed somebody by just reading a resume. Nobody gives you a job by reading a resume. And please understand this. The employer is smarter than you. The HR guy keeps looking at, 500 resumes every single day. There's nothing new that you can put on your resume that will help you get a job. And these companies who are charging you $300 or $500, if they were so good in helping people get jobs, just by making a resume, instead of applying for jobs, people would be standing outside the door of these recruitment companies, just printing out resumes. Please use your common sense. By, paying a guy $300, copy pasting some nice words, putting industry standards jargon doesn't change your profile. If you're a moron, if you're a monkey and with a brain of a jackass and you have a very amazing resume, it's not going to help you. You don't have to believe me. All you do is waste your money, pay $300, pay $500, and then be unemployed for months and months and wonder, oh shit, what did I do? What did I do? Okay. So I'm going to tell you the strategies that you need to follow for 2019. All right. In order for you to get a job. Now, I spoke to some of my contacts who are directors, who are decision makers, the people at a very high level position. And I asked them, okay, according to you, how does a person get a job? They gave me those cliche answers like, it's your resume has to be done very well. Your networking skills have to be amazing. You have to register in all the agencies. You have to look into the newspaper. You have to make sure your LinkedIn profile is amazing. You have to have proper qualifications. I'm reading from the points that they gave me, the email. You have to have a right attitude. You have to have an amazing personality. Now, all this sounds so nice. Okay. Let's think of it in this way. Everybody goes and registers with an agency. Let's assume there are 10 guys. 10 guys, all 10 go to the agency. Okay. All 10 of them go to the agency. All 10 of them, they have the right attitude. All 10 of them have good charisma. All 10 of them have a proper CV, have interview skills. Now, would all 10 get a job? If all 10 would get a job, if you think all 10 would get a job, there would be nobody who would be unemployed who is good. The fact of the matter is there are a lot of talented individuals out there who are not getting a job. The reason being, the people who already hold a job, they have a family to feed. They don't want to lose their job. So unless they empty that seat, how would you, get that seat? And here's another thing. If the economy is not growing, if the business is not growing, if the market is not expanding, how can you keep employing more and more? Just use your common sense. Look at the news. Look at the world events. Okay, don't look at Dubai's news from a Dubai paper. Look at CNN, look at BBC and check what is happening globally across all countries. Now, if during the 2008, that is the housing bubble, okay, everything was expanding. New projects were coming up. Fine, there you'll get a job easily. But when the market is at its normal level, unless a new company is starting up, there will not be vacancies. And when a new company is starting up, everybody's jumping in just to get the job. And every year, there are people who cannot manage their expenses. So they leave their country and they come down to countries like the Middle East where they expect tax-free returns. So what are the strategies? What are the strategies? Let's move on. So first thing is, please stop assuming that it's your resume. Please stop assuming it's your interview skills. That is the last thing. Okay, I'm going to give you 17 points. This is the last thing, resume and interview skills. What are the 17 skills? Number one is strategy. If you don't have a strategy, you don't have a job. What is a strategy? The strategy is you need to have a plan of action. You need to know what are your targets. You need to know how many people you should meet per day. You should know which are the companies you have to meet per day. You have to know what you are supposed to present to them. In fact, what people don't understand is getting a job in the Middle East is a job by itself. It is not you land there on the shores and you'll give your resume to every guy, every company, go to a building right at the top floor, come down, 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 down every floor, give your resumes. Nowadays, they have security cameras, they have security people. They don't allow that. That is not the way to get a job. Please, sir, here, take my CV. They'll just take it. Thank you very much. We'll get back to you. And they'll take it and throw it in the dustbin, or they'll use that resume as rough paper. So number one is getting a job. Okay, the first strategy, getting a job is a strategy by itself, is a job by itself. So you need to have a planned, it's like you have a plan and you work that plan. Okay, that's number one. The second thing is, in order to get this done, you need to get yourself a professional mentor. Not talking about me, get somebody who has been helping other people get jobs, whomsoever it is. And let me make this very clear to you. A guy who can help you get a job in the Middle East or in Dubai, he's not going to come in cheap. So if somebody tells you, okay, I'm going to charge you, $500 to get you a job of, $10,000. Come on, man. And if a guy tells you, yeah, I'll get you a job, guaranteed I'll get you a job, give me $10,000, I'll get you a job, he's lying. There is no guarantee. There is no assurance. There is a coaching process. There is a trial and error process. But there is no guaranteed process. Like, for example, when you're putting Facebook ads, there is a trial and error for every person. If there are 10 people selling 10 different products, there's no one size fits all. In the same way, getting a job, there is no one size fits all for every single person. Okay. What you need to understand is, let's say an engineer comes to me, sales executive comes to me, manager comes to me, a director comes to me. Each guy will have a different strategy in place. Each guy will have a different way of doing things. Each guy will have a different company to approach. Each guy will have a different experience. So I can't tell all of them, get your CV completely decked up and ready. Be ready with those interview skills, with the cliche answers. I'm hardworking. I'm focused. I'll give you results. It doesn't work that way, my friend. Just as everybody has a different personality. Everyone has a different, a persona, a behavior pattern, strengths and weaknesses. You cannot have a one size fits all. Number three, you need to know which company you're applying for. Are you applying for Etihad or Emirates? Are you applying for Citibank or Stanchart? Are you applying for Futtaim or are you applying for Naboodah? Are you applying for a shopping mall or a retail outlet? So each and every company has a different culture, has a different, history, has a different background. You need to understand which company you're applying for. For example, you're applying for Futtaim. Do you know Futtaim's culture is different from Naboodah's culture? Do you know that Shaya Enterprise is different from this company? What is the name which deals with, say, Landmark Group? So you need to understand that each company is different, each culture is different. And, if a company is pretty liberal, pretty broad-minded, pretty, let's say, creative and doesn't mind you being funky, fine. Then you need to blend in or look that part to fit that company culture. If, example, a company is pretty formal, let's say IBM or let's say a government company, you need to be prim, proper and formal. You cannot be creative. Okay. So please understand which company you're applying for. And based on the company that you're applying for, see if your personality matches that. Point number 4 is which industry are you applying for? Now you have the, let's say, hospitality industry, you have hotels, you have the travel, you have medical, you have trading, you have construction, you have consulting. So which industry are you applying for? Now, if in case you're applying for, let's say, the hotel industry, what nobody will tell you is, in the hotel industry, you will not work the standard 8 hours. You will work the standard 14 hours. You'll work the standard 18 hours. You'll work the standard one full day. Next day, you'll take a break. They never tell you this. They never tell you the truth. Why? Because you cannot. And if you do tell the truth and someone complains, you are jailed and you are deported. Do you know that the hotel industry does not pay salaries on time? Breaks every rule in the book where number of hours is concerned. Do you know that for example, in the airline industry, if you're an air hostess and you are going to get pregnant, that can affect your employment. They don't tell you this. So you need to know which industry are you applying for. Let's say construction. Now, construction, they will only tell you face value that, okay, you need to complete the project on time. Do you know that maybe you will have to work 7 days a week when let's say the contract that they've taken it on, instead of completing it within, let's say 3 years, they said we'll complete it within 1 year. That's why they got awarded the contract. And then you came as an engineer on board and, you're expecting a 5-day week. Now, all of a sudden the employer tells you, you have to work 7 days a week because the project has to be delivered on time, or, you can be jailed, or you can be fined, or you're responsible for the project. What do? You tell him, no, I will not work 7 days a week. Here's the thing. This is what people don't think about. Let's say you're working for a trading company and you're in sales. Do you know that the sales is nothing but begging? It is not even, it's the sales in Dubai is nothing got to do with your ability to sell. It's nothing got to do with your relationship with the customer. It is how much can you beg? How much can you get squeezed? How much credit can you offer them? And how delayed you can extend the payments? And how low is your pricing? Nobody tells you this. Nobody tells you this because you cannot tell anyone the truth. So this is what you need to know in point number 4. Point number 5. What does the employer need? Now, here's the thing. Here's which nobody will tell you. Do you know that in some companies, they're actually looking for a yes, sir, no, sir, joining the hands slave? Do you know this? Do you know in some companies, they will advertise administrator, but they will actually make you work as administrator, accountant, driver, sales guy, marketing guy, logistics guy, PRO. Do you know this? They don't tell you this. Do you know that in some companies, they will take you on board, tell you, we have decided to give you a promotion as a manager, and then you're given a lot more authority and you feel very happy, but then you don't know that the responsibility which you have is payment collection, execution of the project, and responsibility of ensuring that the project is not only delivered, but it is a success. And if that doesn't happen, you can get into serious trouble. Do you know that there are some companies which the owner, the employer, expects you to do anything and everything he wants? See, I'm giving the worst case scenario. I'm giving the worst case scenario. Why? Because if you get an amazing boss, you get a good boss, great. You don't have to worry about anything. But in majority of the cases, that doesn't happen. Because if the boss is really good, nobody will leave his company. And, obviously you will not have a vacancy. But if the boss is a jackass or the company is bad, people come and people go. That's how the vacancy comes across. So point number 6, okay, is what kind of person is this employer? You need to check out his age. You need to check out his preference. You need to check out his influence in the industry, how powerful he is. More powerful, more dangerous. You need to know whether he has just come up there, like a dummy position. He has just been given because he's the owner's son, or has he earned his way there, or is he an old dog who refuses to budge from his position? So anyone who comes under him will remain under him for the rest of his life. So you need to keep this in mind. Point number 7, the corporate culture. This is something people don't think about. Let's say, for example, do you know that if you join a company and there are all Arabs, all Arab Muslims, okay? Do you know that they follow a very Islamic kind of pattern of behaving, of treating people? If you join a company that is full of Filipinos, they're very friendly, they're very nice, they'll sit together, they'll eat food together, they'll gossip, they'll have fun, they'll drink booze, they'll have parties. Do you know if a company is filled with Indians, everyone is gossiping about everyone else, okay? Everyone's insecure about everything else. So I'm not saying, I'm an Indian myself, I'm an Indian passport holder. I'm telling you this, I've worked in different companies. If you work in a company where It's multinational. Okay, fine. Have a look at it. Does everyone come there dressing up spick and span and very modern, very high tech, and showing off? Then you also need to be the same. You can't be the odd one out. So the corporate culture matters a lot. Point number 8. Okay, do you know where you have to bluff? Do you know where you have to tell them the truth? See, here's what nobody tells you. Nobody who has applied for a job has told 100% the truth. I doubt. Have you met anybody who has admitted during an interview, I get bored of work easily. I come to work late. I waste company resources. I chat on social media. I gossip about the boss. I get involved in office politics. Have you met any human being, any person who has admitted all this? No. Every person who applies for a job, who goes through an interview, sir, I'm very hardworking. I'm very focused. I've always I've achieved the company goals. I've shown 200% productivity. They are like God's gift to mankind. They are so good that you begin to wonder, why is he even looking out for a job if he's so great? He has contributed 200% of the profit. He's involved in budgeting. He's involved in logistics. He's involved in filing, administration, sales, everything. So why is he unemployed? So what you need to keep in mind is everybody tells lies. Everyone tells bullshit. Everyone has their bluff. Nobody tells the truth. So you need to know where should you bluff, where should you tell the truth, and how much you should tell the truth. Okay. The next one is, point number 9 is, what salary should you agree for? Now, the average Joe will come there and say, if he wants 10,000, he'll say, sir, it is 14,000, but negotiable, because he's trying to keep a buffer. And the employer, he wants to pay 10,000, but he will start, 8,000 is my budget, 8,000. So then you'll come from 14,000. No, sir, that is too low. I'll give you 12,000 maybe. So from 8,000, he'll come, okay, 9,000 is last what I can do for you. And then this guy will say, it's still too less. Last I can agree for 10,000, 750. So this guy says, okay, you want 10,000. I can give you, 9,600 or 9,000. Sir, please, I have a family. The guy will say, oh, okay, fine. No, neither for you nor for me. Let's make it at 10,000. In a perfect world, this strategy would work. However, let me give you a news flash. The employer knows you need a job. You are desperate. He doesn't give a fuck because he has a job. He has a chair. He has a comfortable office with an AC. He knows that you're going through a struggle, going from office or, please sir, my job, please sir, I need a job, or I'm going to go back to India, going to go back to Pakistan, Bangladesh, I'll have nobody, sir. He knows that you desperately need a job. So he wants to show the company, I managed to squeeze the guy and get the best deal in town. Okay. So he will offer you a job, he'll offer you, a salary, which he knows is more or less what the industry is worth, but a little lower. So how do you actually know what should you be asking? I have had candidates and clients who asked 12,000, who had offered 12,750, and I got them 36,000 dirhams salary. True story. No bullshit. You might think, well, how is it possible? Because it is possible. The people who come down to Dubai, who are brand new, do not know what the fuck is happening in Dubai. Does anyone tell you that there is open racism in the corporate sector? Does anyone tell you that you can be jailed if the employer, corners you? Do you know that you cannot, there are no human rights in the Middle East? Do you know this? Does anyone talk about it? Well, try doing this. Go down to the Middle East and tweet something that goes against the country, something that is actually bad. Like in Dubai, does anyone tell you that there are prostitutes in the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning in the nightclubs? Does anyone tell you that? Nobody tells you that, but it happens. They will tell you, no, we follow rules, we follow culture, we are very good, very good. Then from where do these horror stories come from? The fact is, nobody tells you the truth. So please keep this in mind. Okay. The salary is very important. Now, please understand this much, that they can bluff and play with you by saying, after 3 months, we'll increase your salary. After 6 months, we'll increase your salary. Sure. this is how we increase it. That's all bullshit. They are never going to do that. Even if they give you in writing and say after 3 months will increase, they can still play around with it. So you need to have somebody who can guide you on this. Next, point number 10 is, what are the benefits you should agree on? Should you agree on the housing? Should you agree on being given an apartment? Should we agree on the car? Let's say they say, I'll give you car plus petrol plus, extra allowance. Should you agree on insurance? See, in each and every offer that they give you, there is a caveat. There is a loophole. There is something that you don't consider. Do you know that they can offer you a free housing, let's say an apartment, and later on they can dump you in another apartment sharing with 5 other guys, and you can't complain. Why? Because they said, I'm giving you an apartment. I didn't say what I'll put in the apartment. Maybe they'll give an apartment which is terrible because it doesn't say in the contract I have to give you a 5-star apartment. Do you know that if they offer you an apartment, they can even withdraw the apartment? Do you know that if in case they give you the car, they can take back the car? There are so many things people don't think about. They give you insurance. Maybe they'll deduct it from you. See, you don't think about all this because you don't know all this. Then point number 11. This is something you'll never hear, but it happens. Do you know that they deduct visa money from you? I have been seeing my own people that I know who have been doing this successfully. Why are they not being reported going to jail? Why? Because they know how to do it. And why is it that people still pay visa money? They still pay employment, guarantee. All this goes on. In fact, let me tell you, government agency. Okay, now Emarat, the Emarat petrol station, Enoch and Hepco petrol stations. Go and speak to the guy who's putting in the gas. Go and speak to him. Ask him, when you were brought to Dubai or when you were brought to the Middle East, what did they promise you? Ask any of the gas attendants. All of them will tell you that we were told by the agents that we are going to work in a multicultural environment. We are going to work in a company that has unlimited growth. We are going to, you'll be working in a company that has forever learning and growing and training. Well, they have learning, growing and training. They have multicultural because there are Arabs above them. There are Goras above them. There are, all these different nationalities above them. You're Asian, you work putting in the heat, 50 degrees heat. You're putting bloody petrol. And unlimited growth. Yes, you'll grow unlimited, but you're not going to grow for the next 20 years. See, they bring them there. Which human being who speaks intelligently, who has educational qualifications, wants to stand in the sun and work for a petrol station, putting in petrol and, being treated like a dog? But it's happening. And once you land there and you give your passport, you can't do anything. In fact, there have been incidents in the past where if they get a tip, and they keep the tip inside their pocket, they are made to strip down to their undergarments and they are checked if they have any coins. This has been happening. Anyone can talk about it? No, you can't talk about it. Okay, then next one, point number 12. What is the employer's past? Okay, do you know how many people joined the company? Do you know how many people left the company? Do you know what has been the story of people who have had differences with the employer, who didn't agree with the employer? Do you know all this? Does anyone tell you all this? Is there any way to find out? This is where you need to do your bloody homework. Okay. Next one is, what does your contract actually states? Labor contract versus letter of offer. Do you know that there are two different contracts? Do you know something that is written in Arabic eclipses something that is written in English? Do you know that if you take your employer to court, do you know what is the process? What is the procedure? Do you know how he can corner you? No, nobody tells you all this. Okay. Point number 14. What is your exit clause? What does it state? Do you have any idea about it? See, here's the thing. Let's say you joined a company to work for 3 years. Let's say you joined, everything was good. But after 1 year, they're not treating you very well. They're not paying the salaries on time. There is problems in the company, in the management or whatever. Let's say a new guy joined in above you and now you're not happy and you want to leave the company. What does your exit clause state? Do you think it's going to be a breeze? Do you think you can just leave like that? You can say, I don't want to work anymore. Do you know what is your exit clause? What does it state? Have you ever done research about it? Okay. Point number 15 is the SWOT analysis. Each guy has a different strength. Each guy has a different weakness. Each guy is presented with different opportunities and different threats. You must individually study this. You can't have, all companies are the same. All guys are the same. No, it doesn't work that way. Employers, because they are spending so much money, taking so much of risk, and they're running a business, they have a family, they play around with this and they know how to play around with this, okay, which you do not know because you're going to a new place. Point number 16 is getting a job is all about selling yourself. It is not about just your resume. It is not about just what you say at the interview, sir, I will be focused, I'll be dedicated, I'll achieve, the number one. It doesn't work that way. It's about selling yourself, and selling each and every place. Every person who meets you must be so impressed by you. Like I tell them this rule, 47303. In 4 minutes, in 4 seconds, when a person sees you, should be blown away. 7 seconds is when you open your mouth and talk. The person should want to listen to you. 30 seconds is where after you've spoken your basic introduction, the guy feels you are the man. And 3 minutes, that is where the person says, I should offer this guy the job. 47303. Okay, that's the principle. 4 seconds, 7 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes. That's what I train and teach my candidates who come to me or clients who come to me for a job. Last, if not the least, the last is the resume. Even today, I get so blown away by people who say, I applied to this agency, got the resume done. If colors were amazing, if just flowery words were amazing, every person who got a resume done would magically get a job. If talking was the interview skills, any person who could talk would get a job. And it's not just talking. If you're so good, I tell people, if you're so good at an interview, shouldn't you be getting a job offer left, right, and center by people just randomly when you meet decision makers? There's much more to it. So these are the 17 strategies that you have to keep in mind when you're applying for a job. And please understand this much. Just as, your goal is, suppose you want to get married. Getting married shouldn't be the goal. You can get any girl. You'll just get someone, you get married. But then after you get married is where the story actually begins. After the honeymoon phase is over, that's where the headache starts. The day-to-day grind, the nagging, the bitching about the fighting. Oh, you made this dirty. Oh, you are disturbing me. Or you're not giving me space. Or you are, harassing me and finding out where am I. And, the possessiveness, the insecurities, the personalities. I'm not feeling like having sex. Oh, why are you forcing me? Why are you behaving like this? The person loses their temper, loses their... So it is just like that. Getting a job is exactly like a marriage. What you need to understand, your goal shouldn't be just to get married. The goal should be to understand after you get married, during the honeymoon phase, what is going to happen next. And that is where, like they say, the rubber meets the road. So please understand this. Your objective shouldn't be only to get a job. Your objective should be to understand what's after 3 years, what's after 5 years, what's my growth, where am I headed, how am I going to succeed, and how can I make something out of my life. So I really wish you all the best for 2019. Please understand that don't think like an idiot. Don't just think, just get a job, I'm happy. Okay? There's more to it. There's much more to it. Don't think you can fool anyone. Don't think just by making a magical resume, things are going to change. You're going to impress people with the way that you talk and dress. The dynamics are much more than what you can imagine. So these are my points, which I want to give in terms of the strategy to get a job in 2019 in the Middle East, Dubai, especially Dubai, UAE. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, or you can go to askLloydMacedo.com. All the questions I do for free on my professional service. You know how to get in touch with me. My details are down below. Like the video, thumbs up. Don't like it, thumbs down. This is me signing off for now. Take care.